Welcome to today's live episode, except for those catching the replay here on YouTube, of Reclaiming Power with Rachelle, where we are looking for, finding, and yes, reclaiming our power all along this, which is each our own self-love empowerment journey. And today is perfectly aligned on Thankful to Thrive Live Thursday for today's topic. Can you guess? Thankful to Thrive Thursday? Yes, gratitude. Gratitude is our topic of the day. Yes. I'm not sure if I mentioned, by the way, I am Rachelle, the Reclaiming Power with Rachelle. That would be me. Welcome. Love for you to be hanging out. We're going to talk about gratitude and why I am so grateful that it is today's topic of the day. Because through the years of doing this coaching and being in the public eye, even though, yes, I took some time away a little bit for a year or so, this last year and a half, before these past couple months and my coming back, right? And I shared so much of my journey, so much of my story. I do that to show you all that you can go from a life that maybe some would not be proud of. I mean, it's not like I'm ashamed of having been a pimped out, drug addicted prostitute, but that's the path that led me to where I am today. You know, I have real hands-on learning in life of being a self-love empowerment coach. And what came to mind today in sharing this topic of gratitude and being in the public eye, in spite of where my energy has been this morning, my emotions have been, I did not want to come on. I didn't want to go live. I didn't even want to get dressed. I didn't want to show up today. I didn't want to do it. Every part of me was saying, no, I don't want to. I'm not in the mood. I don't care. What's the point? Why bother? The things that our mean girl like to tell us, right? I mean, that's definitely my mean girl. She likes to sit there and tell me all the reasons why it's pointless. Nobody cares. I'm not making a difference. I'm not having an impact. You know, the words that I say don't really matter. All of these negative things that are so geared towards sabotaging my goals and sabotaging my life. Do you have this too? Do you? Do you have this? I'm betting you do. I'm betting you do, because I really don't know really anybody who doesn't, at least not personally, who doesn't have that part of them, that sabotage, that ego aspect of ourselves that's there to, well, give us the challenge that our soul requires in order to learn, grow, expand, and ascend on this journey. All right. So there was a time, as I was saying, back a couple years ago, when I was going live all the time and being out in the open, and I was so high vibe, like almost all the time. I mean, where I was on my journey, we're talking pre-scam of the last 4 years. I'm not going to say any more words than that, because we'll probably, I don't want to get censored. It's insane what we live in right now. It's crazy. Never thought I'd ever have to be afraid of speaking my truth. We don't have freedom of speech, but I digress. We'll go back to that later. I'm grateful I grew up in a time when I did. That was amazing. But 4 years ago, very much so, when I was live, I was doing all the lives like I am now, live all the time, and I had a lot of people, a lot of clients, a lot of other people that just saw my content and were like, oh my gosh, she's just always upbeat, she's always in a good mood, she's always high vibe. How does she do it? Well, first and foremost, my own self-love empowerment here, my own working on me and giving myself what I need. But it was also for me recognizing that back then, I didn't want to, well, the words coming to mind are burden. I didn't want to burden any of you all out there with what I'm going through, I'm the example. And that's my own little ego space of going, you can't actually be upset or depressed, Rachelle. You have to show up in this energy all the time. No. I am so grateful for all of you that I just show up. And my sharing of my journey, my experience, what clients' experiences that I share, because I'm very protective of my client stories. You know, that's our private container that we have. And so that's why I share the majority of my life and my journey, to be that example for all of you. But I'm so grateful that I get to do that I get to, even today, again, the reason why for this story is that I thought perchance I might end up in a weeping mess today. I really, really did, because I was so sure I did not want to come on today. But you know, that part of me says, I don't want to do that, knowing full well that once I come on and once I'm live and once I'm here, that it's a whole different version of me. And this is where I want to be. And that's what it was, is that you still are all of you in everything you do. And you can incorporate all of that. And you can revive whatever aspects of you. You can tap into whatever versions of yourself that you've been before. You can tap into that. And I'm so grateful that I have that version of me that showed up, that was always that example for my audience. And that when I sit in this spot, when I sit in front of these cameras here, and I am spreading these messages that I'm being led to spread, then I'm in that space of my truth, my authenticity. And so what does any of all of this have really to do with gratitude? It's the space of being grateful and appreciative that we have this power within us, that we can choose in any given moment how we're going to show up, who we're going to be in that moment. It doesn't mean that you're anything less or there's something wrong with you if you are in you're in a weeping mess like I thought I would be. But instead, it's learning to be grateful for those states of being, those emotional states, because that's what allows us to really, truly appreciate the really, really good times, right? Is when we're in those really, really bad times. And we can reflect and reconnect with all those good times. And so in that negative space, do you realize that just the power of gratitude is all the power you need? That's it. That's all the power you need is gratitude to lure you, because that's kind of what it is, right? When we're in this negative, bummed out space and we feel like the world is against us, things aren't working out in our favor, all of these things, it's an uphill climb, just all the things. So you're looking through the lens of what's not working, of what's not right, of what's too much, of what you don't like about this world. But we got to practice that pivot. And you get to choose in that moment to start to say, how can I actually be grateful for this experience? How is this experience serving me? What is it teaching me? Because in that teaching, that's you finding your power so you can take it back and be strong again. That's all. There's nothing bad about these other emotions. Not at all. They're just showing you where you've given your power away. And so we can be grateful for the anger, for the blame, for the shame, for the depression, for the grief, for the regret. All those things, because that shows us that, how am I going to respond? What actions am I going to take? How am I going to be moving forward? That's what we're learning here. We're not bringing the past with us. We're learning from it and incorporating, integrating, and implementing those changes, those lessons for ourselves. And then from there, you further expand in all that you are, and all the things that you've been wanting, they're right there. But do you realize that when we're in those lower states of being, those vibrations, that we're the ones pinching ourselves off? We're the ones that are not allowing ourselves to feel better because of what we're choosing to give our attention to. And that by just simply the power of gratitude, you can begin to feel empowered much quicker. You can be the one to pull yourself out of this state of despair by allowing yourself to just start to look at what you can be grateful for. So, how to find the good in the bad? We've already touched on this in essence, right? How do you find the good in the bad? Again, you look for the lesson. You look for the lesson. What is this showing me? What is this teaching me? How is this helping me to grow stronger? That's how you can be grateful for whatever challenge, whatever unpleasant experience in your life. Now, I remind you when I say that, as a former pimped out, drug addicted prostitute who was, God forbid I say words I'm not allowed to say that's telling my story, but I'm going to say them, that I was raped and gang raped and assaulted and domestic abuse and all of these things I endured. And I sit there and even today I'm like, wow, I did. But let me tell you, I'm still doing the healing work inside, right? Because it was so many layers and so deep. But as we heal, as we step into our power, then we more and more step into our purpose. So we can again be grateful for all those times and spaces and places that we gave away our power, because now we're taking it back and we're rising. We're rising. We're getting stronger and wiser and better every fucking day because we are taking our power back. And so grateful for that, right? So grateful for that. So how to cultivate greater gratitude? So obviously, something so simple as just simply stating, I am grateful for this opportunity to learn this. I am grateful for being given the challenge that is helping me grow stronger in being more discerning, being more decisive, being more assertive, being better at my boundaries, being better at communication, being better at self-respect, self-love, self-empowerment. So many reasons to be grateful for the challenging times. So many reasons. But it's up to us to see those. So that's where you start, is you look for the reasons to be grateful. And then you list those reasons. Put them on. And that's what I knew I was spacing something. Write them down. A gratitude list. I keep an ongoing gratitude list in my journal, and I'll fill the page, and then I go to start another page back in it, and then I fill that page, and then I just keep going. And I have, for those who've followed, you know that I have a whole little tracking and organizational creative system for my journaling, so that I know all of my pages of gratitude are based on this one type of ribbon that I use on the page, so that I can go back through and really look at how blessed I am, because all of those things are going to show all of my blessings, because that's what I'm listing is what I'm grateful for. So gratitude journaling is number one, what you can do to cultivate greater gratitude. Number two, a gratitude rampage. A gratitude rampage. You ever heard of that? A gratitude rampage is literally something that you do quickly. Like it's highly motivating. It's very intense. That's a rampage. Like it's just ongoing. So for a gratitude rampage, you want to do it for about 60 to 90 seconds, I recommend. For sure. Start there. Because even Abraham says 68 seconds to really get the ball rolling on momentum. So a gratitude rampage you want to do for at least 60 seconds. So do it for 60 to 90 seconds. And you're going to do exactly this. We're going to do it together. Ready? I am grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for all of my devices that allow me to communicate with my entire audience. I am so grateful for this amazing cup of tea that I get to savor. I am so grateful for my baby love Pegasus right here that I love. Totally my little mascot there. I am so grateful for fresh, clean drinking water. I am so grateful for my wonderful nature, tree, tapestry. I am so grateful for the food in my belly, the food in my fridge. I'm so grateful for my amazing vehicle, my white knight in shining armor, I call him, as I have from day one. I'm so grateful for the bed that I have to sleep in that's so cozy. I'm so grateful for my pretty kitty girl, Chanel Indira, downstairs. I'm so grateful for, and that's what you do. You just sit there and you keep feeding and focusing and expanding that gratitude. That's the gratitude rampage. So when you're really, and this is something that you want to do the moment, see, and this is what we're practicing here. The moment you start to feel yourself slip and trip, starting to make your way down into a rabbit hole, into the hole, just stay out of the hole. The hole of depression, the hole of blame and shame and guilt and regret, stay out of the hole. And the moment you start to feel that creeping, that's when you want to implement a gratitude rampage. So you have this same kind of momentum coming at you that's been built up in your own mind of all the negative perspective that we've been taught about ourselves in this world and this experience, right? So you've got to come at it with the same intensity, the same momentum with a gratitude rampage. So you can pivot that shit and not fall fully into that hole and fuck up your whole day, because, well, once you fall in the hole for the day, it's pretty challenging to get out of that hole. Pretty challenging. In fact, Abraham tends to tell us that most likely you're not going to get out of the hole for the day. Once you get onto something, say you're driving into work in the morning, you're in rush hour traffic and someone cuts you off and pisses you off, that can derail your whole day if you let it. But that's why I'm saying is in those moments when you have that thing come at you, you got to come back at it. Gratitude rampage. You got to come at it with that higher vibration, positive energy, right? That's empowering you. And then thirdly, so first gratitude journaling, just sit and write down what you're grateful for. Okay. I often like to have you include why, like why. Even if you don't write it down, at least write it down and marinate in that. Why are you grateful? Okay. Second, the gratitude rampage. It's a wonderful tool. And then third, and I'm really excited about this one because this is something that I haven't really taught about before. And it's something that I love because I was doing this without realizing I was doing this. Hello, intuition. We love that shit. The third thing for anchoring into and amplifying gratitude is with gratitude stones. Now, there are different ways you can create a gratitude stone, or for me, I let nature. I have this very, very special stone here, and it's from a creek in Ohio that I've never been to. And someone special once had this in her hand who is no longer in this physical realm anymore. And she was one of my first clients many years ago when I was first starting empowerment experiences. And it's just seemingly a simple river rock, but this stone, and so this is what a gratitude stone is. A gratitude stone, first and foremost, is any stone that empowers you, invokes in you a state of gratitude and appreciation for anything, for the stone itself, for your life experience, for where the stone came from, right? There are other types of gratitude stones wherein it's an actual art project and you get a bunch of river rocks that are smooth and you paint on them. You paint messages. You can even write the word gratitude. But ultimately, it's the intention and energy is what makes a gratitude stone. So any stone can be a gratitude stone, because ultimately the power of gratitude is grounding. And since all stones come technically from the ground in some way, shape, or form, well, a gratitude stone then is going to be doubly grounding for you. And that's why I highly recommend that you have something that when you touch it, the energies of it and the trigger within you that gets triggered when touching it, when having this in your hand, is gratitude and appreciation. And I am definitely one to say that this stone brings that for me. And I have another one that does that too. And that's this gorgeous agate, tumbled agate that I got, 2 years ago now almost? I have a little, one of my hairs. At the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show. I saw it and I was just like, oh my gosh. And this is one that I like because I like stones that I can hold in my hand and rub. And this has a perfect little itty bitty divot. And it's fat on the top so I can literally hold it. And I can just sit and rub this and amplify those energies of gratitude. So those are gratitude stones. Again, they look very not similar. They're not the same stone at all. However, they both achieve the same result, amplifying gratitude and appreciation. And now something that I've done that I mentioned the other day that I made for all of you is first and foremost the mini inquiry guide, which this is the freebie. This isn't where it's at, but just so you know, you definitely get this. This I have added some inquiry exercises and details about gratitude stones and what to do to make your stones gratitude stones. That's in this intuitive interpretation inquiry guide. That is also on there for you. So you'll want to check that out. It's available on my website, empowermentexperiences.com/shop. Go claim yours today. And with that, what we're going to do to close out, so grateful, is we're going to go with a crystal mandala card. Since we're talking about stones and crystals today, we're going to go with a crystal mandala card, and we have definitely time for that. And remember these beauties. Love these. Love them. I get all these. I get weird. Sometimes I don't know what this TikTok thing is telling me. There's so much. And okay, we just had a card flip while I was doing that. And here we go. This is our card for the day, the energies of gratitude, and it says Angel Iahel, Iahel. I've never heard of that angel before. And Labradorite. And its theme is individuality, being grateful for you being the unique individual that you are, that the universe created you to be and be all of that you've come to be. I delight in being me. I embrace my quirks and eccentricities. When I am truly myself, I come from a place of self-love that allows others to receive and love me. As I discover and express my true self, I step fully onto my life path and fulfill my higher purpose. As I love and honor my real nature, I listen to my intuition and give priority to what matters most to my soul. Well, very simply there, Goddess, the energy is telling you that the things that you delight in, the things for which you are most grateful, Do those more. Feed those more. Nurture those more. Cultivate more of that gratitude and appreciation in your life by calling in and participating in more of the things for which you can be grateful that are positive. That in spite of whatever challenges over here, you have all of this amazing over here that feels so good, that lights you up. And nobody else has to be into it. As long as you're into it and you feel good, and as long as, of course, you're not hurting anybody else, that's the key. And preferably not hurting yourself. That's kind of the antithesis to self-love, is self-mutilation, which we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, that said, labradorite, individuality. Gratitude. Gratitude will change your perspective so quick if you let it. So remember, the power, it is in your hands, Goddess. Literally, it's in your hands to create the experience that you want to be creating for yourself. What you focus on is what expands. And so when you can empower yourself with the tools that allow you to focus on the things that fill you up, that you want to experience more of because you take delight in those, that's your power. Those things are the very things that are going to continue to lift you up as long as you let them. Stop feeding the things that don't feed you and focus on feeding the things that do. Gratitude. And with that, I am so truly grateful for each and every one of you for hanging out for the live, catching the replay, both on Instagram and TikTok, as well as this replay on YouTube. I appreciate you so much because you there are going to have this replay indefinitely on my YouTube at Empowerment Experiences. And regardless, I'm here for you. Be sure to check out my website, empowermentexperiences.com, for all the tools, the resources, coaching, cards, and all the support that I can and happily, eagerly am here to provide for you. With that, I do as I do, and that is to remind you that the power, it is in your hands, Goddess. The power of gratitude, the power to shift your experience, the power to create whatever you want to create in this world. That power, it is in your hands. Because that power has always, always been inside you. Namaste.